Has a monthly HOA fee really ever bothered you, or have that fear that, will that thing keep going up year after year? Well, for a lot of our clients, not only retirees, but even investors or even first-time home buyers that are on a fixed income or really rely on a set amount of number each month coming in for income and expenses going out, that is a valid concern. Well, I'm going to share with you, back in the 90s, there were some changes with the HOA fees and the management fees, and especially the reserves and how that was set up. So in the 70s and even 60s, but primarily 70s and 80s, when condos were built, there was a one-time reserve fee that was put in at the time of purchase, but then there was no additional reserve fees going after that. So over the years, when the roofs get older, they need the units need painting on the exterior, things like that. There typically was not a big enough reserve in there, so the only way to replenish that reserve was to raise the monthly dues. Well, in the mid-90s, they changed how the reserves were handled. And so now for most condo associations built 90s and later, most, not all, they have a reserve fee where it's typically equivalent to 3 months of the HOA fees. And it's every time that a property is sold/purchased. So typically that fee is negotiated between the buyer and seller, rather common for buyers to pay it. But again, a one-time fee for that person. And then they have, so an example, $150 a month, they're going to have $450 that's going to go into the reserve fee. So now all of a sudden you're going to have this buildup of money in reserves to go for painting and for other capital improvements, landscaping, roofs, and things like that. So a lot of things to take into consideration when you're looking at HOA fees. The one thing is if you look at, example, a lot of condos, let's say the HOA fee is $200 a month. Well, it'll cover all of the exterior maintenance. It'll cover exterior insurance, and that insurance will cover you from the outside, from studs out, and then you would have a supplemental policy from the drywall in to cover any, say, event of a fire. You would cover your cabinets and all of your carpeting and furnishings and things like that. So another thing to take into consideration while we're talking about insurance is it's really important to have gap insurance. When you have that gap insurance, then let's say that a big catastrophic hailstorm comes through, which has happened in our area here recently, and all of a sudden they assess all of the homeowners $3,000, $6,000, $8,000, whatever it is, to pay that deductible for the HOA. That gap insurance will cover you, and it's typically only a couple $100 a year, but it'll cover that $2,000, $3,000, $6,000, $8,000, whatever $1,000 in gap. So a lot of things to take into consideration when buying a condo and when there is an HOA. But in my experience, HOAs, when handled properly, is a really good thing. It's a good environment, and it's a controlled environment. It's a controlled lifestyle for many, and so it's a lifestyle and an environment that many people enjoy and appreciate, and a lot of times have a lot of like-minded people that live in that area as well. If you'd like to learn more about the ins and outs in the HOAs, or see what opportunities are in your market, look us up. Happy to share some knowledge and what we know about those areas.